A mysterious drifter rolls into a small town hoping for a quiet life. Instead, he discovers a community trapped under the thumb of a ruthless crime boss and a corrupt sheriff who traded his badge for a paycheck long ago. They see him as just another nobody, an easy target to shove around, but they've made a deadly mistake. This quiet old man is actually a battle-scarred former special forces operative with a very particular set of skills, and to free the innocent, he's about to turn this entire town into a war zone. This is the brutal story of Hellfire, and you won't believe how he brings them all down. In a forgotten town called Rondo, deep in the heart of Texas, wheelchair-bound father Owen and his daughter Lena are closing their saloon when trouble walks in. Clyde Whitfield, the son of mob boss Jeremiah, arrives with two goons, ignoring the closing sign and reminding Lena that their usual package will arrive at the brewery tomorrow, and she'd better be on time. Jeremiah's small-time empire has the whole town in a chokehold, burying residents in debt, then forcing them to process his product out of the local brewery, which doubles as his base of operations. Clyde has his eye on Lena. He offers her the day off if she joins him in bed, convinced they're meant to be together. When he gets handsy, Owen calls him out for disrespecting his daughter. Clyde responds by violently shoving him into the wall. That night, Lena prays to her late husband Brian, a fallen veteran, asking him to send her an angel. The next day, one walks into town. At the bakery, the old man meets Vernon and offers to fix a broken shelf in exchange for a meal. Vernon realizes he's a veteran. He offers the food for free, but the old man insists on earning it. As he works, Vernon advises him to pass through quickly. Outsiders don't last long here. While the old man eats, Sheriff Y walks in, hand resting on his gun. He suggests the stranger move along once he's finished. The old man calmly asks what law he's broken. Y doesn't care if he's special forces or special cream. No special treatment here. The old man simply nods and finishes his sandwich. Meanwhile, at the Whitfield estate, Clyde heads to oversee operations at the brewery. Jeremiah tells him to stay sharp. A shipment of white powder arrives. Armed guards supervise as townspeople unload it. Jeremiah's enforcer Zeke drags a resident named Randall back to the estate. Someone's been talking. Jeremiah received a call from the Attorney General. Randall tries blaming his wife, Vivian. They don't care. Since Randall is left-handed, Zeke snaps his right wrist. The old man later stops at a rundown motel. The owner, Rufus, looks nervous just speaking to him. The old man asks him to hold a room. Eventually, he arrives at Owen and Lena's saloon, offering to work for a meal. Owen calls him a nomad. Nomada. The old man seems to like it. Owen respects veterans and mentions his late son-in-law Brian before hiring him for the day. Lena isn't convinced. It feels like inviting more trouble, but the saloon is falling apart and they need help. Nomada fixes the oven while Lena watches cautiously. Then Clyde returns. What kind of name is Nomada? The old man says he's just passing through. Owen backs him up. Clyde warns him to keep it that way. When Lena serves drinks, Clyde demands she sit with him. She refuses. He doesn't like being told no. The old man watches quietly. Later that night, Owen explains Jeremiah's grip on the town. Leaving isn't an option. When Owen once tried, it cost him his legs. Lena pays Nomada and asks him not to come back. He may only make things worse. He understands and leaves, checking into the motel and paying extra for towels. That night, during a storm, townspeople are locked inside the brewery packing product. Nomada dreams of a special forces mission gone wrong, an ambush that left his body riddled with bullets. Despite Lena's warning, he returns the next day to fix a drain. She's upset, but Owen welcomes him. Right on schedule, Clyde storms in. He gives Nomada 5 minutes to pack and leave. You think I'm scared of you, old man? Nomada doesn't move. When Lena pleads, Clyde grabs her. She spills his drink. He slaps her. That's enough. Nomada vaults the counter, disarms Clyde in seconds, and throws him and his men out at gunpoint. Later, Lena explains the full extent of Whitfield's network. Connections across the country. Runaways are tracked down. The sheriff is in on it. Things will escalate. Nomada locks the confiscated guns in Owen's safe. Clyde runs home crying to Jeremiah about the old man who humiliated them. Jeremiah can't believe 3 men lost to one stranger. He wants no public incident. He calls Sheriff Y to handle it. That evening, townspeople gather at the saloon. Some fear retaliation, others see hope. Owen reminds them Nomada was a Green Beret. If he can't fix this, maybe he knows someone who can. Meanwhile, Namada calls an old Green Beret brother in arms. The man is stunned. He attended Namada's funeral. Namada says he may have to rain hell down on a tiny Texas town. He needs to call in a marker. Sheriff Y bursts into the saloon, threatening arrest for assault and harboring a fugitive. Namada steps forward. He warns Y that one call to Colonel Hollister will bring federal agents swarming down on this town, and that won't end well for anyone. Y doesn't hesitate. He backs down and walks out. Is any of that true? Not a single word. Jeremiah is finalizing a deal at the brewery when Sheriff Y calls, reporting that the townspeople have gathered around Namada, who threatened to contact Colonel Hollister. Jeremiah isn't concerned. He knows Hollister has been dead for years. That evening, Namada is packed and ready to leave. But Lena changes her mind. She stops pretending everything will somehow work out. It's only a matter of time before she or Owen ends up dead. She senses what's coming and begs Namada to stay. He agrees. She offers him a room, but he chooses the floor. All he asks for is a ride in the morning, 50 miles north, to pick up a package. That night, Lena thanks Brian for sending her an angel. The next morning, they drive out together, briefly passing the Whitfield estate. Their destination is an abandoned airstrip overrun with weeds. A small plane touches down. The pilot hands Namada a package. Watching from a distance are two men, a hit team. Inside the package is an arsenal, weapons and explosives, the tools of his former trade. On the drive back, Namada realizes they're being followed. He chambers around and tells Lena to floor it. The men try to run them off the road, but Lena keeps control. Namada fires into their truck, forcing them onto a parallel stretch. They respond with a submachine gun, but their aim is sloppy. They manage to box Lena in and shred the car with bullets, yet she pushes through and speeds toward a nearby silo. They rush inside just ahead of their pursuers. The hitmen enter cautiously, weapons raised. They move deeper into the silo until Namada greets them with a shotgun blast. He buys enough time to escape with Lena into an adjacent structure. He hands her his bag and tells her to hide. He keeps only the shotgun. For a Green Beret, that's enough. He wounds one man and retreats upstairs. The other follows carefully now, realizing this old man is anything but ordinary. The injured hitman nearly passes Lena's hiding spot when she makes a noise. Meanwhile, Namada waits in ambush. The gunman sprays a row of old refrigerators, unwilling to take chances. Before his last casing hits the ground, Namada steps out and fires point blank into his chest. Lena attempts to ambush the second man, grazing him. Before he can retaliate, Namada nearly blows his head off with the shotgun. They return to town. Namada urges Lena and Owen to leave. More men will come, but Lena has nowhere to go. By nightfall, they arrive at the saloon and walk into horror. Clyde and his crew have the townspeople at gunpoint. Clyde mocks Namada for being pretty badass for an old man, before knocking him unconscious with a metal pole and beating him repeatedly, seemingly killing him. For the town's insubordination, Clyde has punishment planned. For Lena, something special. I've got something special planned. Zeke reminds Clyde of Jeremiah's orders, but Clyde brushes him off. Zeke calls his bluff and Clyde backs down. He drags Lena to his truck. Inside the saloon, the townspeople plead for their lives. Please, don't do this. Sorry, Vivian, their usefulness has expired. The gang opens fire, massacring them in a storm of bullets. Namada regains consciousness in flashes of carnage. Lena escapes one nightmare only to fall into another. Clyde tells her she'll obey him, and eventually she'll love him. They'll have a family. Back at the saloon, the bodies are being cleared. Then Namada vanishes. The remaining gunmen panic, knowing how dangerous he is. They approach the freezer cautiously. Namada attacks. One man is stabbed in the stomach. The other, a massive brute, absorbs multiple stab wounds and hurls Namada across the room. Still, the old man fights through the pain and drives a blade into the giant's neck, ending him. Dazed and bleeding, he steadies himself. The massacre weighs on him. Sheriff Y arrives. He sees the bodies and knows Namada wasn't responsible, yet he arrests him anyway. Clyde returns home with Lena, hoping Jeremiah will let him keep her. Jeremiah sees her terror and orders Clyde to take her to the brewery instead. Y drives Namada there too. Once alone, Namada removes a hidden pin from his pocket and uses his teeth to pick the lock on his cuffs. Y tells Zeke that Namada survived. He demands answers about the slaughter at the... Zeke reminds him who he works for. When Y presses further, Zeke shoots him dead. Namada has already slipped away. He eliminates a lone guard and infiltrates the brewery, dropping men with single, precise shots. He and Zeke engage in a running firefight. Eventually, both run dry and close the distance. They exchange brutal blows. Zeke slashes Namada's face. Namada counters, using the butt of his rifle as a weapon. He disarms Zeke and throws him hard. They clash again. Zeke lands a crushing kick that sends Namada flying. The old man rises. He dodges a heavy wrench, loops a fire hose around Zeke's neck, and leaps over a railing, snapping his neck with the drop. Clyde arrives with Lena, confused by the silence. Namada steps into the open. Clyde tries to run him down. A single bullet through the eyes ends him. Lena learns her father is dead and breaks down. Namada tells her it ends tonight. Jeremiah sits at home, playing piano, when Namada and Lena enter. Then the truth comes out. Hollister. Namada is Colonel Hollister. Jeremiah, his wartime commander, was the one who sent his team into a fatal ambush years ago. Jeremiah tries to assert rank. You hear me, soldier? Hollister has heard enough. He shoots Jeremiah in the leg, douses him in fuel, and leaves him to burn. In the aftermath, Hollister stands beside Lena as she buries Owen. The next morning, they drive to the edge of town. He tells her she's free now. She can start over. She tells him God is with him. She drives away. And Namada, Colonel Hollister, walks back onto the open road. Just another drifter. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more recaps like this. And don't go just yet. YouTube thinks you'll love one of these next.